दं परमसुखदं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं द्वन्द्वातीतं गगनसदृशं तत्त्वमस्याधिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वधी साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि. Nithyananda. Kailasa, the roots from Hinduism and the fruits to the whole world. Talking about Kailasa, the first nation for Hindus, there's so much of questions that the internet is literally burning with. People want to know, what does Kailasa stand for? Why was it created in the first place? And what is Kailasa? Is it a country? And what are the principles that it stands for? What does it represent? And there's so many questions. There's so much of speculations around Kailasa. And today we are going to be having the answers to what is Kailasa, what, when, why, and how Kailasa from a very, very special person. And for me personally, or for both of us personally, she has been our mentor, our guide, and more like a very, very, very close like a mother to us. And like us, for thousands of young women, she is a huge inspiration. And to join us in our show, we welcome Ma Nithyanandamayi Swami, whom we fondly refer to as Akka. Nithyanandam Akka.
Thank you so much for making me a very special guest in the show today. And it's, as always, very nice to see you both.
Thank you so much for Thank you, Akka. Thank you so much for taking your time and joining with us. And every one of us, I'm sure, are waiting to hear these answers from you, because your journey to where you are today is an inspiration in itself to so many of us. Starting out as young as 16-year-old as an actress, making it so successful, and then venturing into so many philanthropic activities, whether volunteering in so many NGOs, standing up for like so many rights like women's rights, LGBTQ rights, and such progressive contributions that you have done. And most importantly, standing as a sannyasi initiated by Swamiji for so many years, with all the attacks, all the persecution, everything. The tremendous strength that you have demonstrated is an inspiration not just to us as female monks, but so many young girls out there who look up to someone, how name shaming, how all of these criticism is handled. You are a big source of inspiration for all of us.
And being such a huge inspiration and being a part of this huge revival of Kailasa, if we have to ask, what is Kailasa in maybe 2 lines, what would be your answer? Kailasa stands for Paramashivatvam, the Paramashiva principle in human beings. That's what Swamiji says. When he says Kailasa stands as a beacon for taking responsibility for all problems in the world through the principles of Hinduism. The roots are from Hinduism, but the fruits are for the whole world, as you said rightly in the beginning. The deep roots of Hinduism is meant for each and every human being in the world, which is why Kailasa is expanding its network through diplomatic dialogues and other so many activities which we've already been doing. If you see Swamiji's history, he is the greatest inspiration for humanity. Starting as young as 3, being trained into yoga, sannyas, I think he knows everything in the dimension of Hinduism. If you see as Hinduism in the framework that we know of, whether it's rituals, yoga, puja, the lifestyle of a proper Hindu, authentic Hindu, let me say, waking up at Brahma Muhurta, doing the yoga, then doing the Hindu rituals that is depicted in the Veda Agamas by Paramashiva himself. He started this at the age of 3, and he still continues it continues it despite his tremendous success. That dedication, that uh,
So true.
sacrifice, let me say, I think is an inspiration for all of us. And most important, I feel what is the foundation, the unshakable foundation for Kailasa is Swamiji himself. As Swamiji has told us many times, and we ourselves have experienced his infinite compassion towards humanity and his unwavering stand on the principles of dharma. For dharma, he never compromises. Never ever he compromises for dharma. I think that is one of the
So
reasons
is
that.
Kailasa?
Yes.
Sorry.
See, sorry, I wanted to complete on that. See, that is one of the reasons that the yellow journalism or the trolls or abusers are not able to actually take the smile away from Swamiji's face or any of our faces, because his unwavering stance for dharma, he never compromises on it, never gets blackmailed, never gets terrorized, never bends, never negotiates for anything that will compromise dharma. I think this is my greatest value I have learned from Swamiji, and this is the greatest value that Kailasa can give and teach humanity. It is very difficult today for a person to stand on the principles because the society is such, corruption is so rampant, earning wealth any which ways is more important than standing on the principles of dharma and earning wealth. There are so many dilutions, so many distractions of the dharma itself. One thing I would like to actually say is the world is seeing two greatest changes. I think this is a U-turn for the world. One is AI, two is Kailasa. AI has artificial intelligence, and we have cosmic intelligence through Swamiji, the supreme pontiff of Hinduism. And that is the game changer for the world today. This is my very firm belief, and every human being deserves to experience the Shiva Tanmay in them. I remember years back, Swamiji had once told every human being has the Shiva Tanmay in them. It is up to us to make them experience it beyond their self hate, beyond their violence, beyond anything that they believe and disbelieve. It is our responsibility. And if you just make a person experience, even once, have that glimpse of Shiva Tanmay, the ultimate super consciousness inside them, it is from there human beings start taking a U turn. They want to live good, they want to be good,
Yes.
they want to
That is
live
so
on the
beautifully put.
principles of Dharma.
Mhm. That is a very beautiful answer, Akka, because it is very important that people understand it is the uniqueness of Kailasa, like you beautifully said, is revering each sentient being as the embodiment of consciousness, the Shiva Tanmay in each one. And that's a very, very important aspect, which I would say that right now, no nation or no one in the world even looks into that perspective as of yet. And that will bring me to the next question, because one thing that so many people have as a question around in the internet is also that we do see so many gurus out there. Many of them have huge, successful international organizations. And given that there is this way, the traditional way of how all these gurus, every guru establishes and they pass their knowledge and so on, single handedly, a man, because Swamiji is an incarnation, but just to compare, all by himself, coming from one remote corner in South Indian village, Tiruvannamalai, from there to establishing a nation all by himself. That whole journey in itself is courageous, daunting, and the cause that Swamiji stands for is supremely compassionate. So, I'd like to hear from you that why Kailasa as a nation is needed. Why and what is it different from, and how is it different from so many typical organizations, spiritual organizations that exist out there?
Kailasa, the Hindu nation, the first nation for Hindus. Why Hindus need a nation? If we analyze that, the only solution will be Kailasa. Today, Hindus are an immigrant diaspora across the world. For whatever reasons, Hindus have traveled across the world from parts of Asia. They are literally in the Antarctica. This is the expanse of the Hindu diaspora. Now, for this Hindu diaspora, what do you call homeland? Which is your homeland? Which country has the Hindu constitution like Kailasa? Which country has the Vedas and the Agamas as its constitution? Which country has the Bhagavad Gita, which has been given to humanity by Parandama himself as a preamble of the constitution? It's not even the constitution, it's a preamble of a constitution. Why do we need this? Would be the next question. Fundamentally, the consciousness of man has has become so low that we all live surrounded by fear, greed. This is our operating system, either out of fear or either out of greed, which leads to violence, which leads to exclusion. There's no all inclusivity, which leads to jealousy, which leads to so much of violence around the world today, whether it's war or rages or car rages or the number of killings that go across the world, the violence on women, the violence on animals, anything and everything is rooted in the fundamental principles today we human beings follow. We do not have the respect of life because we have lost sensitivity or the purpose for human life, which is what Hinduism stands for, which is the fundamental teaching of Hinduism. Anybody who searches for the answer, who am I, will reach Kailasa. It's as simple as that. Your search for who you are, the goal, the final goal is only Kailasa. If all of us start looking in and understand how we have become desensitized to ourselves and to people around us, which is the reason why today the world is suffering. It is only in Hinduism that teaches you ahimsa, and ahimsa not just outwardly. It is ahimsa to oneself. It starts with that. And today, there is no human being, there is no other guru who can empower you with that. There is a difference between teaching and there's a difference between empowerment. Teaching is something that you teach and you have to keep on learning that. But empowering is completely a different concept. And it's only Swamiji, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, who empowers human beings by making them experience the ultimate superconsciousness in them through different methods. And Swamiji is so amazing because his goal for Kailasa, the Hindu nation, his goal for each and every human being on this planet Earth is making them experience their superconsciousness. What is superconsciousness? The ultimate of yourself you can experience living the life that you really want to live by carrying the best human values, by radiating the ultimate dharma without wavering from that. That is what makes you the best you. And that confidence today only Swamiji is able to teach us. He is empowering us. It is not just a teaching where you can come again and you relearn the skill. It is not that. It is drilled once, that's it. You know how to empower yourself. You know you just need to fall back on the teachings, recalibrate yourself, and redesign the life how you want. And that is the beauty of his ultimate compassion. When we say compassion, if I see in the real world, when I see Swamiji's compassion or his tyaga, it is only this for me. His ultimate compassion is his unwavering commitment to every human being that they should experience that ultimate consciousness in themselves. The ultimate super consciousness is just amazing. He will do anything and everything for every human being. It is not limited. It is not whether you like him, dislike him, nothing. I've seen that, I've experienced it in the way he teaches, in the way he stands up for, in the way he his vision for Kailasa is just grand. It is not limited to a small set of people. It is for every human being on this planet Earth. It is for the remotest village in Africa to the richest man in the world, impartially. That is why you you both well know that everything in Kailasa, almost every program, every skills, every teaching, everything is free. Education is free in Kailasa because Swamiji is very, very clear. He's uncompromising on that. Swamiji once said, I think in one satsang, if you teach a man to fish, forever he will be able to live on that. But if you give a man food, it's only a temporary appeasement for his hunger. But if you teach him to fish, you are forever giving him, empowering him to be self sufficient. I mean, I don't mean fishing because we do not propagate non vegetarian. Now we propagate killing of animals, you guys know that. I just meant in a term of an aphorism. Whether it is the way we do agriculture, whether it's our economic principles, whether it's our education policies, everything is based. The fundamental root is ahimsa.
So, like how beautifully you explain, I think you explained multiple aspects and answered my further question also, because I was actually going to ask Kaka, like, if Kailasa is just for Hinduism or for the entire humanity itself. And you very well answered it by saying that there's no discrimination as to who gets it. It's not limited to one small set of people, but for the entire humanity. So now, like, as a government policy, how does Kailasa actually function? Like many of the viewers have this question, and you very beautifully mentioned about the policy of free education. I mean, I'm graduated from Gurukul, where we absolutely enjoyed completely free education and free living, everything being taken care till date. And what does this mean as in terms of the economical policy of Kailasa? How does that function? And how are these decisions taken?
Swamiji has revealed the vision for the economic policies of Kailasa is based on Paramashiva's principle of creating wealth through the principle of oneness, creating wealth through non-violence. It's just two lines. So every decision, every whether it's a financial planning or the financial goals or the expenses made or the bills to be paid, this is the fundamental decision making crux which Swamiji has given as a vision for all administration of Kailasa. Integrity to the word we give should be based on these two principles of non-violence and generating wealth through gratitude. I think this is the only country in the world where we can say we generate wealth on the principle of gratitude. We do not generate wealth through any other violent means.
Wow, that's so beautiful. I mean, I never thought it like that. Like now, when you put it together, I just realized that's how Kailasa functions. That's so beautiful, Akka. Sorry, I'm just reminded of one incident that you had shared with me earlier.
whenever it comes to the economic policy. Like how that really, really touched me so much was that how you had mentioned about Swamiji had, he does not even buy something for his personal need. Like he doesn't have a car or something that's like, latest trend car or anything. He doesn't let us spend even one penny in that. Could you share some more? I'm
Yes,
sure all
I
of the
want to.
viewers would love to hear that from you.
Yes, these are the principles that made me feel so, I will not say touched, but actually rooted me more and more into the principles that Swamiji is teaching. See, even if we take in the framework of a human planet, and on this planet Earth, of a human figure of a man is nothing without his principles. And Swamiji's principles are something I would really die for or live for. If there's anything on this world that I would say I really love, I don't mind dying or living for, it is Swamiji's principles. I think that is something, when you're one as a sannyasi, you learn to understand the principles more deeper. Two, living that is so difficult, especially it's so much of persecution, so much of trolling, and so much of vilification from the society. It is easy to withdraw and easy not to contribute to the society. It is much easier to just go with the flow, right? But I have never seen Swamiji compromise on anything on for dharma, for the principles. Like there was this incident few years ago when there were a lot of us in one of the Adinams in Adi Kailash. And for one Jayanti, a lot of devotees were, we were all discussing, this Jayanti, Brahmotsavam, we should, gift Swamiji a Mercedes Benz. And that's how we all look at the world, right? It's the brand. So we all had a discussion, and all of us, about 10 of us, had presented to in one of the, I think one of the meetings, we all requested, and Swamiji saying that, it's time, Swamiji should be traveling in a brand like Benz and one of those bigger cars, Prada, and all that. And because all of us were so excited and we really wanted to do it, and the devotees were ready to donate for it. In fact, they wanted to offer it at Swamiji's holy feet. First, Swamiji said, "Okay, we'll see." That's what he said. He never said okay. He said, "Okay, we'll see." Then, as a few days went on, and all there was this group of us who were trying to identify the right cars and present it so we can get the blessings. And we were talking to Swamiji's secretary at that point of time. The few cars came. Then the feedback came that the guidance came back that no, tell them no question of investing in any cars. I have a car that I've been driving for the last 13 years, and as long as that is going to keep functioning, I am going to be only using that vehicle for transportation, for travel when I need it. Any money, any income, even if a devotee wants to donate it to me, it should be done with the future in mind. It should be more as an investment rather than a luxury spending. So this principle of Swamiji, the integrity to the concept itself, it is not that we could not afford to give or the devotees could not afford to give. It is not that we were taking it from the trust or anything like that. It was a devotee who wanted to give. But the principle of Swamiji saying it does not matter whose money it is. The Lakshmi, the wealth, should be respected and should be expensed only for things that are going to add value. Now, this Mercedes Benz does not add any value for me or for anything I stand for or anything I do. Just for the sake of the society, for the sake of branding, no question of investing in any of these kind of expenses. And of course, all of us were disappointed and we felt so bad because we were so excited. We really wanted to see Swamiji in a Mercedes Benz or a Prada, but it didn't work out. But what I learned from it is uncompromising value for every little thing, whether it's a little squirrel, whether it is money. And that taught me so many things. The decision Swamiji makes in any projects or anything is the value we add to humanity. This happened, right? This happened a year later. There was this Kumbh Mela. Both of you are also aware of this massive Kumbh Mela where we had organized in Ujjain. Ujjain, and before that it was in Nasik. In both the Kumbh Melas, it was around summerish time when Kumbh Mela came. So we had to set up this whole Kumbh Mela, and everybody, all of us went back and forth with so many budgets and so many expenses and all that. So on the whole, it was unimaginable expense that we had to invest into for just the services. We only did Annadan 24/7 throughout the 30 days or 40 days. Actually, we overstayed, completed the whole Kumbh and finished the Annadan till the last truck left in the Kumbh Mela, last camp left. Our camp was there feeding people. Unimaginable expenses. And one of the organizers, few of them felt, actually not just one, few of them felt it's really hot, and in a hall where about 40-50,000 people are going to sit, it's going to be very uncomfortable for people to sit while during programs or wait or anything. So it would be good to have air conditioned hall. Now just imagine the whole structure was a semi-permanent structure made of tin sheets and all that. In that, if we had to make it air conditioned, it is going to cost almost double the normal cost of an air conditioned halls. And when the budget came back, it was almost 3 times the original cost that we had planned for. And my first thought was, oh my god, it is such a waste of money. It's after a free program, one. Two, and it's Annadan. So let's find some other solution. This was my thought. But then when the administrators and Swamiji's secretary went back and there was a presentation to Swamiji, this is what we're planning. What Swamiji said was, no, AC the whole hall. Because when a person is sitting there and he's supposed to be experiencing the Shiva Tanma in him, or he's supposed to experience a superconscious breakthrough in him, or if he's supposed to experience the dikshas given to him, or he's supposed to experience the superconscious energy that Swamiji transmits to him during the programs. If he is going to sit uncomfortably and start feeling, oh, it is so hot, and start getting restless, he is not going to experience the program. He is not going to experience the breakthrough in his life. Oh my god, I was really taken aback. I have never seen or heard anybody. You cannot, this is an open statement I can make. I don't think any businessman, any philanthropist, anybody can say that they think to this extent for one human being. And I'm sure most of them, Swamiji doesn't even know who's going to come. Swamiji will not know who is going to come, what they're going to do, whether they're going to be with us forever, or what is their contribution, if at all, is going to be for Kailasa. Nothing. Nothing. Without any of those expectations. This was the guidance and vision Swamiji had for Kumbh Mela. Same way with food. Right from the papad that was served, to the laddus, to around 11 to 21 items on different days that was served, everything was organic. And Swamiji just doesn't give the macro vision, he micromanages it. He would personally call the devotees who were volunteering and ask them, did you really go and see the place? Is it really organic? Truly organic? And to the extent that when was the soil last cultured? When was it fertilized last? When was the last chemical fertilizer used? This much of micromanaging Swamiji does for humanity. It was a sea of humanity that came during Kumbh Mela. I think we would have served more than 1 lakh people a day. So let's say over 50 lakhs people would have served. And we don't even know what if I talk in today's materialistic world or a business investment perspective, we don't even know what returns we are going to get back from that. But without even thinking, there was no second thought on that. That is the level Swamiji micromanages, and that is what he has taught us, this unwavering commitment for Dharma. Dharma is superconsciousness experience for each and every man. And this grand vision is, as you rightly mentioned, is extremely challenging. And if you look back into Swamiji's last 40 years of life till now, surviving, going through everything he did, and still going strong, still standing on the Dharma, still standing for the vision, is just an amazing. There's no word to actually, you cannot say an experience, you cannot say a role model. It's amazing to just be living and seeing that, experiencing it.
It's so beautifully like what what you told Akka now is a very very important aspect. I will say that nobody outside can know this aspect of Swamiji. We see Swamiji, people normally, the common public, the masses, they see Swamiji in giving satsangs, they see experience Swamiji's blessings, the powerful healing, the phenomenal transformation they have in their personal life. But to see how Swamiji, what are the principles based on which Swamiji makes decisions to run the Kailasa, to run the whole Sangha, global Kailasas all over the world. This is such a unique but a very, very, very important aspect that you so beautifully. And these two incidents.
Yeah, and I really loved how you showed, like, very beautifully contrasted how, like, for Swamiji's anything to do with personal, like, Swamiji doesn't, like, spend anything, but for the people, for the sake of people, for the sake of humanity, Swamiji is always thinking the best, to give the best, just to give that Paramashivatva to people.
And actually, that I wanted to ask another question in these lines. Common people currently, they experience Swamiji as a guru, personally guiding them in each of their lives towards transformation, as an avatar, giving them the experience of enlightenment, experientially making them understand the principles of Hinduism. And one thing that people don't really know, or very rarely people get to see, is Swamiji as a reviver of Kailasa. And as a leading sannyasi in Kailasa, Akka, how was your experience? How will you define how you experience Swamiji as a guru, as an incarnation, and most importantly, as a reviver of Kailasa, the hard work that goes behind, and the decision making policies, like when a crisis happens, or when there is so much of persecution, when people try to stop Swamiji standing up for this great cause. When each of these different situations are thrown out in the front. And how will you, or how have you experienced these dimensions of Swamiji? Could you please elaborate on that?
See, as a sannyasi, what Swamiji always taught all sannyasis is um, just don't waver from dharma, the principles. For a simple sentence, Swamiji says is, for dharma, you can give up anything. It's as simple as that. And that is what Swamiji demonstrates in today's world. For dharma, he's ready to give up anything. But he doesn't compromise on dharma to get anything. I think this encompasses all the entire Kailasa in a single phrase. Never compromise dharma for anything. And that is so, so difficult in today's world with so much of, let me say, not, it's very disrespectful to say cunningness, manipulations, the conspiracies that go on. So, despite this, Swamiji still so sure, so clear in his vision, which we see in satsangs, is Kailasa does not just define a geographical position. Kailasa defines the cosmic principle. So that has no borders. How I see Swamiji's revival of Kailasa is, I actually don't see this as a revival for Swamiji. I see this as just a continuation of all the great history of Hinduism. Whether we start from how Kashi was established, from there to how Madurai Meenakshi ruled Madurai, to now, I just feel it's time that all those old traditions, old culture, the Veda Agama principles are coming back into life. Yes, there was a space, there was a gap where humanity missed these values, this great life, and Swamiji is back to remind us all. And if I have to see, let me just phrase it for myself better. I feel, see, when for me, I studied in convent, so my understanding of Hinduism is not very. Let me say it's very superficial. For what I understood Hinduism, what are the basic principles of Hinduism, is very basic. Then when I met Swamiji, I understood a lot of things, and Swamiji's wisdom is timeless. I'm trying to put this in a very humane terms. It's so difficult to encapsulate and put in words the infinite, timeless wisdom of Swamiji. Wisdom is a very small word because it is much more than wisdom, it's much more than intelligence. How do you capture these two in a single platform? I don't know. But that's what Swamiji is. From the time I saw Swamiji in 2009, his smile defines an endless space of simple bliss. I don't know how else to say this in a better way. I saw Swamiji first time in 2009. From that time, the smile of Swamiji just reaches out to you. It talks to you. It tells you, hey, here I am. The timeless wisdom, the infinite wisdom for humanity, with infinite wisdom to walk people out of suffering, and infinite joy to just look at you, they remove suffering from you. You don't even need to do anything for me. That is compassion. Even if you just see, I have, when I first attended the program, that was what I started experiencing. If just by getting one glimpse of Swamiji, there is no communication, there is nothing you need to offer to him, there is no business transaction. What the world says is absolutely, to put in a nice way, crow shit, saying that, whatever today Kailasa and Swamiji has is only through his grace, his compassion. I have never till date, as a policy itself, Swamiji's made this policy very clear. We are not a business based organization. All income should be only from gratitude. Can you imagine how difficult that is? Even if a man just stops back and thinks, my God, how can you earn money through gratitude? Who gives it nowadays? From that space, if you even think, it is incomprehensible how much Swamiji should have or would have contributed to each individual that so many Kailasas across the world today have sprouted, have grown, and are contributing back to the society in many ways. How is it possible? When we are making income and generating wealth only from gratitude. There is nothing else. And that, if each and every person starts even contemplating how is it possible, you will understand it's impossible to define or frame Swamiji into any single box. You cannot say he's a reviver, you cannot say he's a guru, you cannot say he's only, let me say that, he's only a reviver of Kailasa, we cannot say he's only a reviver of authentic Hinduism, we cannot say he's only a guru, we cannot say he's only an avatar. He's everything and beyond that. But for that, man first has to become sensitive to himself, for him to identify the great compassion of Swamiji. I will not say great, great is too small a word, the infinite compassion of Swamiji.
So beautiful, actually. I mean, I'm just still cognizing your words, Akka. It's just so beautifully you put it. We were thinking, what is Akka going to be defining each of these aspects as? You beautifully put it, like how Swamiji is, you can't really define it like that. Is everything and much beyond. Um, like you were mentioning earlier, how that even our policies of Kailasa is everything is based on what Paramashiva has revealed in the Agamas. So, like, because Paramashiva revealed in the Agamas saying knowledge should be free, the knowledge is completely given for free. Even those Swamiji's written 1,500 books, everything is available for free. Same way Gurukul is given completely, the education is given for free. Now, what is the what is the policy that we have as Kailasa for women? In all, like for example, in the Manudharma Shastra, it very beautifully explains how Yatra Naryastu Pujyante Ramante Tatra Devata. So wherever women are worshipped, gods live there. Now, how is Kailasa having this as a policy in our government? Like, how are we? What's our perspective for women, and how is women empowerment happening in Kailasa?
I think the policies of Kailasa when it comes to women empowerment or feminine movements was very visibly present, very tangibly presented to the world when 17 of our female leaders represented Kailasa in one of the UN meetings, assembly meetings. I think that defines Kailasa. No other country can say it has such a strong members, female members, representing them. A delegation of an is an all-female delegation that went there so boldly representing Kailasa. I think that showcases who and what, how we take care of our women, protects women. The very first fundamental principle for Kailasa and the vision Swamiji gave for Kailasa, it's not now. I think many years ago Swamiji declared 33% of Kailasa is for women. But today, there's an internal joke that says 98% of leadership in Kailasa is women. That is a telling statement of the freedom, the safety, the security we as women enjoy in Kailasa.
And I think now this brings me to the last question that I wanted to ask was, now if there is one thing that you want to share, like why is Kailasa so important right now? So with these services, with the revival of Hinduism, now the major things that the world is combating with, be it in the perspective of war, there's so much of war and terrorism that's happening, or the climate change crisis that's going on,
or even things like gun violence that is happening on.
so now for all of these, is Kailasa a global solution? And why is Kailasa so important for humanity? What's the need for Kailasa during this modern time?
Kailasa is the only solution for each and every problem in the world. Why? It is simple. In the principles of Hinduism, as Swamiji has revealed, in the Vedas and the Agamas, has clearly defined that what we are is what reflects outside in the world. So it's a suffering inside of us is what is reflected in terms of violence. When we radiate suffering, suppressed suffering and violence, the nature gives that back to us. Now, where does the cycle end? How do you end this vicious cycle? Because man has forgotten how to bring himself out of suffering, out of the delusion, out of anger, out of rage, out of jealousy. He has forgotten. He does not remember it, that he is living at his lowest consciousness. If you see, there's a chart by Dr. Robert Hawkins called The Map of Consciousness. In that, it is clearly drawn as a map. The lowest of consciousness is shame, fear, greed. And it keeps going, the chart keeps marking each of our emotions. And then there's a change from lower consciousness, lower emotions to higher emotions. Once that shift starts happening towards higher emotions, that's when man has experiences a breakthrough into superconsciousness. As long as each and every human being is still suffering from this suppressed suffocation, suffering, rage, violence, jealousy, greed, fear, anger, today and in the future, the leaders of the world are going to be molded, modeling, and only radiating these principles. Then, where are we heading as a world? Where are we heading as a humanity? It's time for all of us to stop, take the U turn, look into yourself, and who is going to help you do that? Where are you going to get the environment or the ecosystem to help you, support you, to be your best self? When you look into the mirror or when you're dying, you should die as a man who's extremely happy for having lived the best life, having lived a good life. And Kailasa is the only place that teaches you, trains you, entrains you, literally handholds you to come out of this suffering. And there is nobody else who has the infinite patience, infinite compassion for man other than Swamiji. And as I explained before, just having a glimpse of him, I have seen people walk out of suffering and out of addictions, out of depression. Would you not want a simple solution for all the suffering and violence? I would. I really would. I would tell all my friends. In fact, that was how it started. I wanted all my friends to experience and have a glimpse of Swamiji. I really didn't care whether they're going to be long term devotees or anything. Just having a glimpse will help them walk out of suffering. So, for humanity to take the U turn from where we are right now, as you rightly mentioned, wars, violence, gun violence, rape, child abuse, child molestation, everything today possible is happening bad to the world. And that is what the nature is reflecting back. So it's a vicious cycle that keeps going. And Kailasa is there standing for each one of us, each person out there, telling stop, stop the destruction. Let's give a better life for yourself and your future generations. And we are there to make it happen. That's one amazing quality I think Swamiji has ingrained in all of us of not giving up. Just by living the life he is living, by not giving up on his principles, by not giving up on his dharma, despite so much of persecution and violence perpetrated on him, that strength he's passing on to his sannyasis through and to the humanity through Kailasa. Because today's generation just gives up very easily. If you fail in ninth standard, commit suicide. If a girlfriend who's in 8th standard or in 6th standard says, I don't like you, throw acid in her face or break her head with a rock. If your mother says, no, don't go to a party, a 5-year-old child just takes out the weapon in his hand and shoots his mother. Is this the world that we all envisage for the future? Surely not. I think nobody would like to leave this world, to first live in this kind of world or leave this kind of world for the next generation. That's why I said in the beginning, there are only two game changers in the world: artificial intelligence and cosmic intelligence. And Swamiji is here through Kailasa. And it's only through Kailasa, and it's only Kailasa that is going to be able to make man stop, turn, look. Let's change the world for a better future. I hope that answered all the questions.
Wow, thank you so much, Akka. That was really, really. Yes, yes, you did. And you even summed it up very beautifully. And I like that artificial intelligence and cosmic intelligence. And it's time that all of us move towards the cosmic intelligence. So that's really wonderful. And thank you so much. It was really fun and so insightful to know so much in depth about Kailasa from such a senior sannyasi like you, and who's seen the hard work that Swamiji has put in, been a part of this huge revival that Swamiji has been doing and continuing to do for the sake of Hinduism and for the sake of humanity at large. And most importantly, the way you took us through, like each of us, even for us, it was even a lot more understanding as to the principles that we stand on, what Swamiji has envisioned, not just like you beautifully put it, right? It is from Hinduism, from the roots of Hinduism, but to the whole of humanity, giving the best of Hinduism without any kind of discrimination, any barriers, economic barriers, social barriers, no barriers, and giving it to everyone. And you took us through so beautifully, Akka, and I'm sure every viewer that watched this would have enjoyed. And we hope each of you who listen to our conversation have gained a lot of insights as to what Kailasa, as the nation, the first nation of Hindus, what we stand for. And stay tuned, we have a lot more coming up, and I'm sure each of you are very, very eager to hear a lot more from Akka, and we have a lot more coming up. So stay tuned, and to receive all these updates, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. And take a moment. If you get a question that you want to know something about Kailas, something about what Swamiji has been doing, take your time, leave your comment, and we will see you in our next video to give you the answers. We'll have Akka sharing much deeper insights for all the questions that you're asking. Thank you so much, Akka. I know you're having a really tight schedule and taking your time off and coming and giving us so much of time and answering us. Thank you so much. It was really lovely to have this conversation with you, Akka.
Not at all. It is really such a joy and
Thank
such
you,
an
Nithyanandam.
opportunity to share about the vision, the grand vision of Swamiji for humanity, and the unwavering principles, the dharma of Swamiji. It is, it's a never-ending fuel for life for me. So it's such an opportunity, and thank you so much, Nithyanandam.
Thank you, Nithyanandam.